Hey there, it's Chris Murray from childcare-marketing.com, where we help childcare owners and leaders get to that next level of success, whatever that means for you. And in today's blog video, what I'm going to talk about is a question we get all the time, which is site selection. So this is actually part one of a two-part video series that I'm going to do all about expansion and some key factors to understand when you're looking to expand into more schools and centers in your preschool or childcare business. And so the part one of the two-part series is focusing on site selection. The question is, Chris, how do I find the best site, the best school location? How do I find that sweet spot of the next school that I would like to develop? And so I wanted to take the opportunity in this video to give you three kind of key characteristics that you're looking for when you're looking to expand to more locations. And then we're going to talk about some resources and tools and kind of a process to go about it. So first, let me kind of mention that, in terms of location, I hear this a lot, which is people that come up to me and they say, well, it's really all about location. So whether or not you're successful in your childcare business is related to two things: location and price. And I typically get into a very strong debate with people that tell me that, because while location is a super important element and factor, and that's why we're going to do this video today, it's not the only thing. It's surmountable. I've had lots of clients that have overcome a bad location, and it's really all about doing great marketing. You have to work a little harder in your marketing to overcome a bad location. So with this video, let's avoid that problem altogether and give you the secrets to starting off with a great location. Then you won't have to worry about trying to market harder and overcome that. So it is an important thing in your success, but it's not the only thing. So I just wanted to make that point. So the first factor for site selection is understanding your market's demand versus supply regarding this service. So regarding all different flavors of childcare, whether it's a home-based program, Montessori, traditional, and church, and others. So to really get a good grip on in your market or further out from your existing market, in a 20-mile radius of your existing school, let's say, you want to understand the finite elements of demand versus supply and exactly what's going on in those pockets. So the way to get a handle on that is to really study and map it out. I would actually get a physical map of your town, city, region, and I would get a list of all existing operating childcare facilities of all flavors, like I mentioned earlier. And you can get that typically from your childcare resource and referral agency, because when parents call them at childcareaware.org, they look at their master list of every single type of childcare service that's available to them, whether in-home, etc. And you want that list. I don't know if they'll share it with you, being a child care center yourself, but they should, because you should be working with them anyway. They typically have tons of resources for you and for parents. So you want that list. Certainly you can Google and find lists, map-based lists, but you want that list, and you want to map out your entire region and understand where there are existing schools, especially ones that compete with services that you offer that are really similar to you, and then where there are pockets of opportunity. So that's the first thing, is to map it out. And you can use Google tools to electronically map, and I'll give you some more software tools here in a minute to do that electronically, maybe save you some time. So that's the first thing, is understand demand versus supply. The second point is related more to competition, specifically digging into the competition that is strong in those different markets. So who's full? Who's rocking it? Who's struggling? Where are they? If they're struggling and there's a bunch of struggling centers, and that typically would mean that that area is overdeveloped already. You definitely don't want to go there. So doing your due diligence to call these schools and figure out, and maybe using a mystery shopping firm to see how full they are. And so when Jessica and I go in and we do a mystery shop, we ask the director specifically, or whoever's touring us, we say, so what's your capacity at this school? How many kids can you take? And we just act like we're, a parent, like we don't really know anything. And they say, not the parents don't know anything, but as far as childcare capacity, you know what I mean? And then we say, so how many kids are you serving right now? And so we totally can get, just by asking those 2 questions in a mystery shop, what their capacity is versus their space available. And so you want to do that with as many schools as you can to understand specifically how your competition is doing in those different pockets. So that'll give you an extra layer of knowledge. And then the third factor that you want to consider when you're expanding in site selection is distance. So where's your current school and where do you live? And how is this possible place that you're moving to, the site selection process, how will it impact your daily life? If you're a mom with young kids, if you're a spouse, is this going to be a school that's 5 miles away from your existing school or an hour away? And that's definitely a factor to take into consideration. I like to recommend that you would be far enough away that you don't cannibalize your existing clientele, i.e. in that sweet spot is between 8 to 12 miles, 8 to 20 miles away from your existing school. Far enough that you don't cannibalize, but not so far that it's going to cause you stress in your commute, because you're definitely going to want to be going there, managing, building it, all the things that you need to do when you're opening a school. So those are the 3 factors: demand, competition, and distance. Some tools that you can use. So the next step would be out of this video, when you're ready to expand, to hire a good commercial broker. A commercial real estate broker can help you look for sites and look for places that you could lease versus spots that you could build on. So that's going to be the next video in the series, is the buy versus build decision. And so in the next video, we're going to talk about all the components that you need to think about, the pros and cons of buy versus build. But somebody that you need on your team for this process is a good commercial real estate broker, and they will help show you all the different possibilities in all of these markets. And they should have access to possibly 2 tools that we use for this. There's several tools, but 2 that kind of rise to the top are these mapping software tools that I told you I'd mentioned, and it's Caliper Maptitude. Caliper with a C, Maptitude is one of them, like aptitude with an M. And then another tool that can give you the supply versus demand mapping it out information is Sites USA. Sites USA. And so just having a commercial real estate broker that has access to those software tools and know how to use them, or other tools that are comparable, will be fantastic for you. It'll be a huge shortcut. The other person you need on your team is a business broker, potentially, who's familiar with the early childhood industry, and we have lots of those that we work with as well, and we can recommend those to you. So build out your team, get the resources, get the software, do your due diligence, map it out, and you'll be well on your way to an awesome second, third, or more location for your childcare program. Stay tuned for the second part in this series. And thanks for visiting our blog and watching our videos. This has been Chris Murray at childcare-marketing.com. We'll see you soon.